One of the questions for the Chicago Bulls last season was, would they resign Coby White, and what type of player would Coby White be? Could he be a starter and a star in the NBA, or would he just simply be a rotational player in the NBA? The only question that the Chicago Bulls had about Coby White on Tuesday night would be, could he win the most improved player of the year in the NBA? Unfortunately, he lost that award to Tyrese Maxey. We're going to be talking about this and how this impacts Coby White, and also to how this impacts the Chicago Bulls moving forward. This is Rico Greenhowe, your host, and this is another episode of Bulls Digest. And before we jump into it, I want to let you know that 84.4% of you guys that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with your latest news and happenings around your Chicago Bulls. Without further ado, guys, let's jump into it. And the topic, which is Coby White loses the most improved player award to Tyrese Maxey, went ahead and threw up an article which actually puts his season into context, and he had a heck of a season. So let's go ahead and jump into what Coby White had to say, and also to statistically what Coby White did for the year. So here's the article, which is Bulls Coby White edged out from NBA's most improved player. You can check that out there on Chicago Sports. And this is what was said in that article here. So White averaged a career high 19.1 points per game, with the highest points per game increase in the league at 9.4. He also finished 7th in minutes played, with his 13.1 minutes per game jump in playing time, also representing a league high. White was one of 3 NBA players with at least 1,000 points, 350 rebounds, 375 assists, 200 made three-pointers, joining Luka Doncic and also to DeJounte Murray of the Atlanta Hawks. His 209 three-pointers broke Lavine's single season franchise record of 204. And here's what Coby White had to say there in this article. There is a lot of guys playing well this year. It would mean a lot if I could get that award just to show the work, he said in a recent interview with NBC Sports Chicago. And I always say it would set a standard for other young guys in the league who maybe wasn't looked at as a power right away. Like, he was the 7th pick and not written off so much, but looked at what he was able to do. He can't make the leap. A lot of people say the leap comes from your 2nd to the 3rd year. Mine came from my 4th to the 5th year. There's always still time. I'm only 24. Just continue to trust that work. All right, guys. So look, man, I think that just to start off here, what you saw is that Coby White put in work this year. And so I love what he had to say after that. And I love the fact that he's trying to set a standard. But the fact that he's compared to, the same sentence as Luka and DeJounte Murray, these guys were quite the players this year. And Luka, I think, is still in the finalist for the MVP award. So that's how good he's played this year. But look, Coby White did a terrific job in coming in and really taking over the point guard position, because like I said, to lead off the video, a lot of people were wondering, were we going to re-sign this guy and could he be a starter? And I think that situations are a big part in the NBA. When you come to a team, obviously if you're drafted high and things like that, there's a huge expectation. But I think a lot of that too comes with timing. And, fortunately for Coby White, he got a chance to play. He got a chance to play because Lonzo Ball was injured. And I think, had Lonzo not been injured, and then also too, had Lavine not been injured as well, we may not have seen the up in minutes and also to the points that you saw with Coby White, and also too with Dosunmu as well. Because this is one of the things that I think has been talked about a couple times on this channel, is the fact that, we felt like Billy Donovan should have played our younger players a little bit more. And I will venture to say that due to injuries, really that's how we've actually found are players that have actually been pretty productive for us. Thinking back to the last time we had the most improved player of the year winner, which is Jimmy Butler, he improved from 13 points up to, I think, 20 points or something like that. His percentages went up from 30% up to about 40%. And if you remember, he won that in the 2015-2016 season, I believe. And it was the second round against the Cleveland Cavaliers, in which I will say, as a Chicago Bulls fan, we should have won that series. The Cleveland Cavaliers got a timeout that they did not have. If you remember, that's when Derrick Rose had hit a game winner, and LeBron actually came back and hit a game winner off a timeout that they did not have. Went on to go to the NBA Finals. But moot point. But going back to it, but Jimmy Butler was able to take advantage of the fact that Derrick Rose had missed a significant amount of time. And because of that, he was able to step in and play some big minutes for us, and he got that experience. And so, this is another instance where I think Coby White was able to go ahead and take that leap because of that, guys. And when you look at the numbers, comparatively speaking, to Tyrese Maxey and what Coby White did this year, I think you're going to see that the comparison was right on. I think that the real reason why Coby White probably lost this is because he got injured late in that game against the Indiana Pacers. I think had he not hurt his hip, I think perhaps we would be talking about Coby White winning this award. And not to take anything away from Tyrese Maxey and what he was able to do. If you've been looking at the playoff series, like, Tyrese Maxey has been electric for the 76ers. And obviously he has made it a point that the 76ers did not need James Harden to be out there and be effective. And, if Tyrese Maxey were playing with Joel Embiid down the stretch, perhaps I think that would have leaned in Coby White's favor as well, because that actually would have taken the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hand a little bit more, and he probably would have deferred to Joel Embiid a little bit more. So I think that those are two situations that perhaps worked in favor for Tyrese Maxey, but not taking anything away from Tyrese Maxey. Let's go ahead and jump into the numbers, and comparatively speaking, guys, and you can see exactly what these players did side by side, and you can also see how good Tyrese Maxey is. I had to look at the numbers. This was actually pretty interesting. So looking at Tyrese Maxey's numbers right now, if you see this on the screen, you'll see that he actually was up for the most improved player of the year award here in year 2, finished 6th. That's what that means. But you look, he made a jump from 8 points to 17.5, and then he made another jump from 17.5 to 20.3, right? And that's where I guess Philadelphia was like, look, man, we can go ahead and get rid of a guy like James Harden and give this guy the key. And this is what he was able to do. He was able to produce another 5.9 or 25.9 averaging points here. And then you look at the assists, they're about it definitely goes up here about another 3 points or something like that assist-wise. So does a great job as far as distributing the basketball, almost up to about 4 assists a game. So, he did a terrific job as far as not just going out there and just being a scorer there. And then the percentages as far as the three-pointers and things like that, they were about right on with where he started his career. He started about like 30%. I think he's shooting a lot better than what he's showing right now at the 37%. So anyway, what I'm trying to show here is that, guys, he was in the running for the most improved player by year 2. He obviously won it again a couple seasons later. And I think that Coby White could honestly do the same thing. Putting up Coby White's numbers, look, he was in the Rookie of the Year running. He finished 5th there. Cool. But if you look at the production, he went up to 15 points a game, went down slightly to 12.7. And I think that you can look at that and say, look, he had the shoulder injury and things like that. So that probably hampered that year. That's probably why we didn't see the jump that we wanted to see. But the fact that he came back, he had the down year, came back up. I love this about him. I think he's a late bloomer, 19 points a game. I love the fact that the rebounds have gone up for him. He's right at 4 rebounds per game on the defensive rebounding standpoint, almost 5 total. Love that about him. His three-point percentage, it took a little bit of a dip this, or not this season, but the season before. So we see that, but he's back at about 37%. I think that this is the next evolution for Coby White, in my opinion, is he's going to have to learn how to play without the basketball, in my opinion. I think if he learns how to play, without the basketball, and he learns to be a bit of a better shooter as far as setting his defender up and getting open that way. Kind of think of a lot of what Klay Thompson does sometimes, or a lot of times, kind of that's what Steph Curry does, including the spectacular stuff that he's been able to do. Think about back in the days where Reggie Miller, Dale Curry, which is Steph's dad, the way that they were able to set you up off staggered screens and things like that. Like, I think that that's going to be the next evolution for Coby White. And I think once he learns how to do that, to go along with what he was able to do this year as far as getting to the basket, I think that he was probably one of the best, same foot, same arm, like finishers at the rim. I think that he was outstanding there as far as taking like body contact as well. I saw that a lot. He was able to take a lot of contact and finish. And I think that his transition game was terrific. And like I said, I think the one thing for him is that he is a player that has to touch that ball, and he has to kind of get himself into a rhythm that way. I'd like to see him kind of come into a rhythm more so just kind of coming off screens and scoring that way and setting up his defenders. But I think that there is room for that to happen, especially depending on what we're going to do with DeMar DeRozan, because even if DeMar DeRozan does stay, I think DeMar DeRozan eventually is going to start to defer a little bit more to Coby White, and eventually DeMar DeRozan is going to move on, and that's where Coby, I think, is going to take another step forward. So I don't think that, he lost the award and it was one of those things where he got robbed of the award. I think that Tyrese Maxey absolutely deserved this thing. It's tough for us as Chicago Bulls fans because we wanted him to win it, but certainly you understand that he did hit a wall, so I get that. But this is a great sign for Chicago. We have a building piece. I think beforehand, moving into this thing, we were saying to ourselves, what are we going to do with Coby White? And the fact that we're able to take Coby White and now use him as a building piece is huge for us, especially with the cloud that we have around Lonzo, what we're going to do with Lavine, and then also, too, a bit of a cloud around DeRozan. So it's a bit of a fresh air for Chicago, knowing that they have a couple building pieces in the backcourt and perhaps might have one of the best backcourts in the Eastern Conference coming up here. So I love that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. Do you think that Coby White got robbed of the award? Do you think that Tyrese Maxey deserved the award? Do you feel like that, Coby White will take another step once he learns how to play off the ball a little bit and become a better offensive player as far as setting up his defenders to get to jump shots that way? Because clearly he's shown he can knock down the 3-ball, but I like to see him knock down the 3-ball off screens and things like that. And, lastly, guys, do you think that we are going to make some moves around Coby White this year that is going to unlock him? Like, do you think we're going to ultimately go ahead and let DeMar walk along with Lavine? Let me know in the comments. This is Rico Greenhowe, and this is Bulls Digest. And as usual, guys, go Bulls, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.